Alright, today we're going to be molding some hot glue bullets. What we have here is a standard Lee 2-cavity mold for 40 caliber or 10 millimeter. This happens to be 175 grain Lee liquid A-LOX groove type of bullets. And instead of molding them with lead, we are actually going to mold these bullets with thermo heat plastic. So what I've done is sprayed down this mold with a little bit of spray oil. I think you could rub it with oil too. You just want to have it oily enough that the thermoplastic doesn't really want to stick to the metal very good. And we're going to take a glue gun like this, just your standard Lowe's glue gun, and injection mold plastic down into the mold like so. And we give that about 2 minutes to set up, and then we'll have a nice glue bullet. Here is one that I've done previously. They come out pretty nice. Sometimes there are a few cavities in there. Sometimes if you don't get enough glue, like for instance this one has a little cavity in the back end where the thermoplastic, as it cooled down, it contracted and pulled a little bit of air back into the mold. So you kind of want to leave a little bit of extra on top of the sprue plate here to make sure that there's enough in there. But I don't think those little cavities are going to matter or anything. And what we're going to load those into is a 10 millimeter shell. And here I have a piece of 10 millimeter brass. It is unprimed. It has been resized, and then ever so slightly the case mouth has been belled. And so the way we load these is we take a little bit of Ogden's clays is what I'm using, and I'm taking a 0.3 cc Lee powder dipper and dipping that Ogden's clays down into my shell. And then what I like to do is I use a paper wad, and if I can get the camera situated here, I will show you how I make a paper wad. I take a piece of paper like this, which is just an old folder, and I take a drill like this where I've got a 10 millimeter shell chucked in this drill, and I've kind of sharpened the edge of it a little bit, so when I take and press it down on that cardstock and twist it, it ends up cutting me out a nice wad that is just the size that I want. So yeah, it does a pretty good job. I won't say it's perfect, but I couldn't think of any better way to make 40 caliber cardstock wads like this, and this is doing it. And what the wad really does for you is I lubricate these bullets, and when that keeps the lubrication off of the powder and off of the primer, and it also seals this glue bullet up. These things don't have a whole lot of resistance, I guess, because they're kind of flimsy, and they just are not the toughest bullet in the world, as you might imagine from glue. And so I just use these little wads to improve on what the thing does. That one didn't cut exactly right, but I don't really think it matters too much. What I do is I just take this little wad and I just set it right inside the shell like this, and I take a little something and tamp it down. You can see one edge of it is it's not wanting to behave exactly the way I want it to, because I'm videoing. My body's kind of not in the right position to do it exactly the way I want to do it. But we probably get on the mold here. You take and pull your sprue plate. Should have done that. Did it. You take and knock your sprue plate back. Okay, so we probably didn't have the mold quite lubricated enough, and I also ended up injection molding plastic up under the sprue plate, which is something that you should not do. It's just a pain to clean off. It doesn't really hurt anything. The bullets still come out alright and everything, but you got to get all this junk off. I shouldn't have had to have done that. So anyway, You know, you live and you learn. But anyway, on these things, you just take and pull your mold apart. You kind of take your thumb and pry your projectile out of place, and this one looks okay. It's got a little bit of an air cavity in it too, but no worries. This one has even a bigger air cavity in it, so these are not the best attempt at molding, but you know, it's good enough to kind of give you an idea. And I'm just going to take my rag here and wipe most of the oil off of this thing, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of regular old white lithium grease and separate it a little bit. Take a little bit of white lithium grease and just wet it down a little bit with the grease. That's a little too much there. When you're doing production, you know, you don't have near as much trouble. So take and just push that glue bullet down in there, put it on a hard surface, and give it as hard a push as you can get it. I like to get them down in there as far as they'll go, which I think helps protect the glue bullet, and it helps them seat a little better too. And what you end up with is something like this. So it's a glue bullet sitting down inside of the shell further than a regular bullet would sit. In this case, it's unprimed. And the last thing we'll do is prime it. And I know that is not the world's safest practice, is to prime a loaded shell. But in this case, the glue bullet acts like a piston, and it compresses air down in there, and because it offers so little resistance, if you already had it primed like you would do with a normal bullet, the glue bullet will push itself back out. And so what I have settled on doing, whether it's safe or not, is to prime the shell after it's loaded. Of course, there's a very small powder charge in this shell. Outside of a barrel, of course, it can't generate a whole lot of pressure. It could pop and fizz right here in my face, and it would make stuff burn a little bit probably, and probably wouldn't want to hear it because it'd probably be rather loud. So what I'm going to do is do what I should do and put on my hearing protection and my eye protection, and then I am going to prime the shell, and it will be ready to shoot. So we'll use our RCBS priming tool, make sure everything is lined up the way it should, open it up, run a primer down in there, slowly insert the primer. I'm holding it way away from my face, feel it seat, and have a look and see. Yep, primer is seated well, our bullet's seated well. And let me tell you, these things pack more power and more punch than you would imagine. I'll demonstrate shooting one later. We don't have time on this video, but these things are they're not toys. They are for practice and for smacking something that you want to smack, but don't necessarily want to explode. But they're pretty neat. They're pretty easy to make, and they're pretty fun. So thank you for watching, and go enjoy your reloading.